everybody. This is Patti. Welcome to the witching hour. Yes, that hour of the day when the veil is thin and magic happens. I have, some of my favorite magic on today. We see each other several times a year, usually at big conventions. We have never worked together, and yet she is still one of my favorite people that I get all excited to see. You know her from Ghost Hunters, maybe from Ghost Nation, paranormal investigator, woman extraordinary. Shari DeBenedetti. Welcome, Shari.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I know I'm so sad that we've never worked together.
I
You
know.
know?
And even on these conventions, it's not like we're just like, who knows? I know most of them that we do, it's not an investigative thing. It's here's the room
Right.
and here's the room and here's whatever. But I know
Yeah.
we are actually both doing Penhurst together coming up this next month, which is my first time there. So that should be fun. So,
It's my second. First time it was so many people. It was huge. So many people. And I did investigate some of the areas there. So, but you know how it is when you have a lot of people there. It's very tough when people are coming in and out and stuff. So it was very tough. But I've never actually investigated alone, which would be nice.
would be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, no, it is a different thing because again, energetically, it's squirrel, squirrel, trying to focus in on the spirits, and there's like 300 people there. It's tough, but
Yeah.
I'm excited because it's high that whole area. I've always been intrigued with that area, which is weird because I'm not into battlefields, I'm not into war, I'm not in overly even into history and stuff, but I've always just been drawn there. So, and just now starting to get there. So we'll see whether I was there in the past or whatever life we will see. So you truly are one of just the premier women of the paranormal, truly one of the most elegant and beautiful. But besides, of my opinion, how did you even get into this crazy world of ours, the paranormal?
Um, when I was younger, I always heard things, saw things, but I was kind of one of these. And there was one specific thing that happened which made me get into it was I lived in a home that was not there was no activity when we first moved in, and then all of a sudden there was, probably like a year later. And all of a sudden, just, doors opening and closing, lights turning on and off, footsteps, voices, just a lot of weird things happening. But this one particular night, I just got home, got ready for bed, and as soon as I laid down, something grabbed my ankles and held my ankles down. And so when I got up to go to see what it was, and then they grabbed my wrist and put my wrist down on the bed. And then, so I was like lifting up my head because I was trying to yell out to my parents down the hall. And then they put their hand over my mouth and pushed my head down. And so, I could feel the fingers, like on your lips, you can feel that. And I was like trying to like get out and everything. But then all of a sudden there was a doppelganger of my boyfriend at the time appeared at the bottom of the bed.
Wow.
And so, for a second, I'm like, because I just left him at his house. So, but now he's in my room, and I was like, how? I don't understand. Am I still there? Am I like, is he here? I just couldn't figure it out. So then he started walking to the side of the bed, and he just kind of like leaned over and just stared. However, he didn't have a face.
Ah,
The face, the face was just like like if you're looking out at a midnight sky, no clouds, you just see like that distant black look. Like that's what the face looked like. But everything else around him, like his hair, the head, all of his clothing, everything was him. And I have no idea how long that was for. No idea. So then he, got up and then he started walking around, and I heard his footsteps in the carpet, and I heard his, like when your thighs,
yeah.
you hear that. So then he went off that way. The door opened up. He went out. The door shut, and then everything was lifted off. And for about, I don't know, maybe like a year, like I went to sleep with like the TV had to be blasting because I didn't want to hear those noises. The lights were on. The closet was even open because it's like I don't want to see any shadows. I don't nothing. So while I was going through that process, there still was a lot of stuff going on in the house. And I was always, is that going to happen again? Can he do more? Can he harm me? And so all these things were going in my head. So that's what kind of made me start figuring out, like, I need to figure out what's going on. Um, and since then, I mean, I moved out of the house so I could never go back to investigate it to see, to
what it
see what
was.
could have happened. But also, when we were there, my mother had her own experiences, but she saw a person. You know how people say like the top, what is it, the top hat,
Yeah,
and
the tall hat. Yeah, we
yeah,
know.
yeah. So she was kind of describing it like that. And she's like, I don't know, Abe Lincoln's here again. She always just said Abe Lincoln. And she would see it around the house. And that was prior to me seeing this one. So again, the question is this the same thing? Is it just a doppelganger and he's just switching out of bodies, or is it two different things? Like, we have no idea. I'm never going to know because that was almost 30 years ago. So it's like, I just don't know.
But that's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, to be a young girl, being held down by your hands, then being held up by your feet, by
Yeah.
your hands, and then your head. But that's
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
I
And,
mean,
you know, and,
I
and
think
it even like,
more.
huh?
That's. I mean, of all the weird things I've experienced, I've never had being held down everywhere. That's
Yeah. And it's funny because I remember the first day because I had a gym downstairs, so I worked out every night, and I just remember the first night that everything felt different, like everything, like the whole house was just, and I just remember towards the end of my workout, um, I felt I felt like there's this big, I'm just gonna say like a big man like next to me. I'm only 5'2", so it could have been whatever size. But that's what I just felt. I felt like something was like right up against me. And I've never had that like feeling before. I was like, oh my God. And I just couldn't move. I was so nervous and scared. And I'm like, I looked up at the window. There's like a cat like staring into the thing, which obviously scared me more. Not that that is paranormal, but like it just scared me more. And I was like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. And it took me a while to even go back down there again because, like I said, the doors would open and shut by themselves, and that's like the basement door, so that would always slam.
always the
So
best.
yeah, right. Yeah, so that's kind of what got me into it. And so I started, researching and studying. Again, this is the 90s, so there wasn't really that much out there, and you couldn't really talk to too many people about it back then either. But I tried to research as much as I can. And then I started to investigate places. Like you start with the family and the friends and all that, and try to get into wherever you can to experience whatever you can. And then I ended up starting my own team, and I had that for a few years, and a few things happened why I had to like just kind of like stop that and then go forward. But I did work with a lot of other teams in the area. So I had my own team, and then I had other teams that I worked with. Again, back then we used to all help each other. Remember? Not like nowadays. So yeah, so I worked with many local teams and taps teams, and I still do today. So even though if I'm not filming, I'll still be, like home and working with residential stuff because that was my main thing. That's the reason why I got into it, is because I was always scared going into my house. I would have to be sitting in the driveway waiting for one of my parents to come home just to even get into the house because I was too scared, too nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen day by day. I didn't want to be held down again. So that's why I really got
That's
into this whole
But
thing.
that's even say of a lot of people that would have scared them away from this whole thing forever. Quite the opposite. I work with teams, I do everything, but I like
Yeah.
house the best too. I understand for media and everything, you got to go to the big scary and whatever, but I
Right.
like seeing what's going on in individual houses and people and I like happy
Yeah.
too. I like the happy ghosts. Let's go where they're swinging off the chandeliers having a good time.
Right. I mean, I love, like going to these big, huge, scary, love it, love it, love it. But I also love going to these residents, helping them, and also teaching them whatever we know, like just, and I love having them investigate with us a lot of times we figure out, a lot of it's maybe like family members. So I always like to allow them, like, you talk to them, like, because they're going to know. You can ask them questions, and then we'll also know that it's truly that person, because you guys are going to have this relationship. I don't know what your story is. So they feel more comfortable. They learn a lot about it. So I really, yeah. So that's kind of what the beginning of my whole thing was just to help homeowners.
I love that. And that's good. And you're empowering them. I like in my work what I do too, getting them involved. If I'm doing clearings, no, you have to help me. You have more passion about your house and what you want it to be than I could ever have, no matter how much
Right.
I care. This is your home. So I love that you do that.
Yeah.
What is like I know what is your most amazing experience? Because we don't talk paranormal that much. We always get into magic and witchcrafting and stuff, but I love the paranormal. And again, having here with you, what is your most amazing experience you had? Though other than probably that first one that was
I
terrifying, but
know.
amazing.
Yeah, I like, people always ask me what's my most scariest, and it was like that. That was the most scariest time. I have had other experiences, but not scary. I don't think of it as scary anymore. It's very intriguing. It's very interesting. It's just, you want more. You keep asking for asking for, do this, do that, So yeah, so nothing is really, scary. But I have had, oh God, I've had somebody go into bed with me, and like, you can feel them, like, like coming into the bed and like giving me a hug, and it was almost like all I can think of is like a cocoon, like it just like went around me, like my legs, my body. And at that point, I yelled at my husband that was downstairs, my ex-husband that was downstairs, you know, to come upstairs, because I'm like, I don't know what the hell's around me. Like, something is like got to my bed and was like hugging me. But as soon as, right before he came around the corner, like it went off, like, and it disappeared. He was giving us a hard time because we were selling our house. So whoever we had in that house was kept doing things to the house and would always like turn on the lights. So we would leave the house and it would turn on the lights for us to go back in there to shut the lights off. That was, yeah, he was a pain. I've seen somebody getting picked up and thrown. And yeah, and you know, this was another one where I wasn't scared. I didn't feel nervous, but I think because it had nothing to do with me, had everything to do with that person. So I felt safe, and but I felt bad for that person. I mean, he was a big guy. Yeah, he was a big guy, and it was almost like, like you pick up a baby,
Yeah.
like with under here. So it's almost like somebody picked him up like that and then threw him backwards, and so he like went up and over, probably, I don't know, 10, 12 feet, and then he kept moving, and his head hit the stairways, the bottom of the stairs. So his head hit it, and that's what like stopped him. Yeah, he had a lot of issues, but oh my gosh, I he was an ex-boyfriend also. And there was we used to live at, I don't know if you ever heard of Danvers State Mental Hospital, is asylum in Danvers, Massachusetts. They turned it into apartments. So I lived there for like 3 years. And again, I had my kids with me, but I told everybody, kids are off limits. Like, don't go in their rooms, don't talk to them. I don't want you to see them. I'm sorry, I don't want them to see you. Just nothing. Do not, you know, communicate with my kids whatsoever. But I didn't care. I'm like, I don't care if you're here with me. I don't care. You would see a lot of things, a lot of shadows, and God, I think one of the, again, it's not scary, but it's just kind of, you get startled,
Of course.
startled a lot.
I'm
And there
I'm
was like,
yeah, no, I'm
there,
a jump scare too. We know what we're doing, so we're there.
right,
Still, it's like, I don't care if it's a fake guy with a chainsaw.
right, right.
I do love about you is watching you on event from television is that you keep everything together. You do keep everything together. Really
Well,
nice.
you know why? Because if something happens, I always want more. So okay, I did see that happen, or I heard it, I hit it. do something else though, because I want to know it's actually somebody. I'm more of, okay, let's try to figure this out first before we get all excited. And, so that's part of the, disproving, debunking. Let's try to figure what's going on here. So yeah, so I don't get too scared. Most of it is not paranormal, you know. Of course, with all the shows, there's a whole bunch of shows that are out there, YouTube and TikTok, and it's just flooded with all of these videos of people just screaming and yelling and running, and it's
Yeah.
most of the time it's not going to be anything, and everything is demons now. Everything is
I
demons, and
hate
it's like,
that. I think I, that is one of my pet peeves. It's like you're giving a cranky little tiny ghost. You're going to make it into a demon. It's like
yeah,
99%, 99.9%. I think whatever the demon's like. No, if it's
yeah,
you would kind of know that. No, it's a
right, right,
cranky
right.
little low vibrational. Ugh.
Right. Like it could just be a little ass, like run around, like if he's a
Energy.
jerk, it's just whatever. But it's not a demon. It's not evil, so, and I keep saying, I'm like, I've been doing this for so long. I've never come in contact. Even the person that held me down, I still wouldn't say it was a demon or devil, whatever you want to call it. The person that picked up that guy, I still wouldn't call it. Like it's just a mean person, a mean spirited person. It's not the demon, and yeah, no, no, no. I hate it.
I do too, and
Uh,
I don't use hate very strong. I said one thing I hate. I have had somebody at one of my seances burst into flames. It's an old story I've told up, but that wasn't even a demon. It was just a cranky, theatrical, old Hollywood ghost that wanted to go, "You're on fire." It's like, okay.
oh God. Yeah, I just don't. And a lot of the things, I don't work with like the spirit box and stuff. I know a lot of people do. A lot of people love it. Whatever. To each their own. You do however you want to do it. I personally don't like it. First of all, it bothers my ears, like that noise. It bothers my ears. I can't listen to it. But secondly, if there's 10 people listening to that radio, there's 10 different answers.
Yeah.
And then if somebody, usually the person with the machine, they're like, oh no, it says, Susie is in the well. Well, no, it's not saying that. It says Susie is doing well. Like they'll come up with their own little narrative
Story.
story and then have everybody go along with it. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, it doesn't say devil, it says Devin, or whatever, like, I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying so hard to
Yeah.
create a story,
Yeah.
to tell a story, but I'm with you too. And you got to debunk stuff. If everything is something, it's like it's nothing.
Right. Right. Yeah. Nobody's going back. That's the other issue is like nobody's going back to the basics of it could just be animals in the walls or electrical or plumbing or whatever it is. Every little sound is a ghost. And yeah, it's a little out of hand.
Yeah.
Not out of hand. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. I know. And it a lot is animals in the walls. I remember at my house, I had all this noise. I mean, I have a ghost, I have a haunted doll, I have a ghost in my house who came with my house, but it's a friendly ghost. It's a French woman artist. And all of a sudden there's this scratching above the bedroom in the head. And it sounded like somebody was bowling up there. And I'm like, this isn't a ghost. This is rats. This is mice or rats. And this is worse. Ghosts I would know how to deal with. But I actually gave them an ultimatum. I'm like, hey guys, I don't like when he's poison, and I, I literally told them they had 24 hours to leave, or I would be drastic. I said a very large backyard, and you could be in those fruit trees, and you could scare me, and you could eat the fruit, and you could do, but you can't be in the house, and you can't be in my air conditioning unit. I swear they left in 24 hours.
Oh, nice.
I know, because I didn't want to get
Wow.
rat traps or poison or anything like that. So, but it wasn't ghosts, but could have been sounding like ghosts, but
Yeah. Oh, so that's what yeah, I went off track. Sorry. I do that a
we
lot.
make no tracks on this show. We go everywhere. I have no pattern. Yeah.
Well, like back to like the place that we lived at with the kids, and there was like a little kid that like rushed up. So like it was in the living room, and he like rushed up to the bed, but it's like all shadows. So I just saw like shadows everywhere. And one night, my daughter did come to me. She's little, and she's like, "They're moving things in my room. I can't sleep." I'm like, "Okay." So we go into a room, and again, I have her talk. I'm like, "I'll talk, and then you talk," because I want to build them up also. And so she said, "You can't be in my room, yada yada," and then that was it. It was just like that was, it was nice. They did whatever we asked. There was a lot of things that happened in there, but nothing to the kids, thank God. A lot of other people asked me because they knew what I did, so that that I would go to like their rooms, their apartments, and help them out. But again, there's nothing evil, nothing.
No, you go to a concert, go to a mall, go to wherever, and there's all these people. Most of them are good. Most spirits are
Yeah,
good. Yeah, there's one serial killer in there somewhere, maybe, or a
yeah,
potential, but as a rule, people are good. And I love how you really, because since I've been seeing spirits since I was tiny, tiny, and I just always knew and believed that this is our realm of existence. They really do have to play by our rules. If you do it like you did, no, you can't talk to my children. You can talk to me. You can't do this, and they listen. People don't know
yeah,
that though, so they give away their power. They get all fearful or they get all angry. All the stuff that would feed, especially a negative spirit.
yeah, right. And
And
that's, I mean, it's what I do. That's one of the reasons why I love like going to houses and telling them like you need to do this and you need to do that. Like you build yourself up. You use strength. If you're weak, they'll more stuff will happen. So you gotta just stand up and be strong.
so in your work with this, again, you're super gifted yourself. I mean, that's obvious to things you can see and you can send. And that's why spirits are going to come to you and show themselves to you and what they're doing. Has that changed your belief system about anything, about life, afterlife, or anything like that? The more you get to know this other world?
Um, I I don't know. I do believe with like reincarnation. I do believe obviously in the afterlife. I obviously believe that with all the experiences that I've had,
Mhm.
talking to my grandparents and so I don't know. So I definitely do believe. I don't know when I started believing
Mhm.
though. Like I never really, I guess, thought about it when I was younger. So
Okay.
definitely within the last 30 years,
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
I
No,
definitely believe.
my theory is I say this often, so but that times are scary. We know that times are scary, and then a lot of times when people are scared. They go back to their faith, religion, go back to church, go back to temple. That's not working for a lot of people. So therefore, the rise in witchcraft and New Age and affirmations and crystals, and a lot of people still it's like I don't even want to get into religion or spirituality, but I want to know that there's something. If we get blown up by the aliens or the Russians or whoever tomorrow, I want to know there's something more. And I swear that's the new people going into the paranormal. So and then
Yeah.
kind of
I
back
I
to
am
it.
not religious. I am not religious at
Yeah.
all.
Oh, yeah.
I'm spiritual, but I'm
Yeah,
not
no, I'm not
religious, yeah.
religious. I have a spirituality school that we don't allow religion. I mean, we allow spirituality. And we don't say this is
Yeah,
the truth, it's a truth, it's my truth, it's whatever. But I
mhm,
just wondered because I
yeah,
really think the scary times, it's paranormal is like a new religion without having to be religion or spiritual or anything. But then a lot of
mhm,
people do start developing their own ways to navigate.
right.
I hear that you have like do YouTube going up. What's going on with you in this new beautiful world of everything?
Right. Well, I have been locally investigating, and I don't wanna put on the residential, put that out there. So I've been doing a lot of commercial property also, and just decided to talk about the property, get the history, and of course, do investigations in there and put it on YouTube. So I've been going to a lot of places. I just haven't started posting and posting anything yet. I mean, I am not great with tech whatsoever, so I'm trying to learn all of this stuff and kind of put it all together. They're not going to be very long, just short, yeah, cuz I'm not very tech savvy, so I'm just going to be like putting things in on there.
Good.
Yeah, so I want to, start that because yeah, this is the world of YouTube and stuff. We are for ghost hunters, we're waiting to hear about stations
Okay.
because as you know, there was only a couple of people that were wanted on Discovery Plus, and they went another way, and we took our name back and we left also. So now there's nothing, there's no more on that. So we wanted to go somewhere who we can work well
Good.
with. Because I personally don't think that we were being treated very well over there, and a lot of other people felt it too. So it was kind of just like we just need to break away and find a new location. But we definitely want to keep it linear and streaming because you can't just have one or the other. There's so many people center of the country, they don't have, the internet or good Wi-Fi or whatever, or they don't want to spend money on the streaming, but then you have the streamers who definitely want it.
And
So,
don't have
we
TV.
don't,
The streamers who I haven't had regular TV in 100 years. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, I haven't turned the TV on so everything's streaming, yeah, for me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of people, mid states, they don't really have great internet. And also, I know, a lot of people just don't want to keep paying for all these all these extra streaming services. So the price keeps going up every year, every year. So yeah, so we're trying to figure out a new home for that. So in the meantime, YouTube and doing residential locations. And also I'm trying to put an event out here. I know you've been to Salem,
I love
right?
Salem, one of my favorite places. I'm a witch, of course. I love
Right. So people are always asking me, like, where can I investigate? Where can I investigate? So I will be having a couple of events around here. I'm going to try to do like one a month for the summer, not October, because
it.
October is like
Salem's
a
October. No,
crazy,
I know.
it's crazy out here. Yeah, so in the Salem Peabody area. So I've been trying to put that together.
Oh, that's beautiful. I can't wait because, again, all my time in Salem, which I do all sorts of different things, I've never really got into the paranormal or ghosty thing. And you know how haunted it is there. So, how fabulous. So, and I too, I like YouTube because there's a freedom to it. Of course, we need the network and doing all this stuff. But I mean, I have these just little blaring examples of like Cecil Hotel with Ghost Adventures. We did the big opening 2 episodes thing. And do this, can't do this, do this, can't do this. A month or so later, I did it with these top YouTubers I do. No rules of anything. They're like, we don't, and the freedom that we had was incredible, incredible.
Yeah.
So what we got to experience and everything. So yeah, we just want it all. We want it all. The freedom
Yeah.
that you could have really creating your own without network and all that, but then you need the other.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like ghost hunters, they don't tell us what to do, so we do whatever we want. It's the part where, you only have 42 minutes. So they have to pick and choose what's going to fit in that. You got the, beginning, you have the end, so it's even shorter. So you only have those, 40 minutes to fit everything in.
Yes.
So you're at a place for a week. So you have a week's full of stuff like all in there, and yeah, YouTube, you can put whatever you want. You can have part two, part three, or you can have a 2 hour thing. You could do, yeah, whatever you want. You can swear or do,
Yeah, all of the above.
anything. So it's
So.
definitely, yeah, much easier over there.
But good. Well, we will wait for your. So, how can people find you for both to know when your TV's coming back, to find your YouTube? So, send people to your website, your social media, so they can find out any events you have.
Most most of it is at Sherry Marie, and then my Facebook page. I do have a Sherry Marie 826, but that's kind of like my private page, sort of. But the regular page is just Sherry DeBenedetti. Yeah.
Check it out and follow her. Anyway, thank you, Sherry. Again, I will see you very soon at Penhurst. Anybody want to come out? Penhurst Paracon. I don't know what we're doing there. I just go one day at a time where I'm going to be. I'm literally getting home from Romania and Paris one day to unpack, repack for Penhurst and leave. I'm going to be gone the 2.5 weeks before that. So I'll be there probably in my pajamas. I'll be there.
That's
It's
okay.
okay. And thank you so much, Sherry, for bringing your beautiful, bright magic to the
Yeah,
witching hour.
thank you. Thank you so much. It's good to see
You
you.
too.